Welcome to Thrones and Scones. It's your weekday morning podcast where we talk about Game of Thrones over breakfast with you, the listener. Today, Season 7, Episode 1, Dragonstone. And here to chit-chat about it, we've got Tony, Hans, and Jeremy. You guys, it's like a 9-second intro. It's been the same layout. And why do I feel like in the last week and a half, I've just not been able to do it at all?
I don't know, because I feel like season 7, let's get it done. Like, it feels so good to be here, because this is such a good first episode. We get probably the introduction of the most important character ever. And I think we all knew who I'm talking about.
I'm not sure.
Let me just tell you.
We already meant Sir Pounds.
Yeah. No, just like we have this voice that is like straight from heaven.
Oh, I can't wait to get into it. Just to remind people what happens here in the episode. Should I give you a little plot recap?
Please. Does it matter?
I think I've got one today.
Oh, go give it.
Okay. I gotta think. I gotta think how to best do it here, though. Hold on. Give me just a second.
So the episode was pretty fantastic. Talisi. Hans, I want you to put a sweet edge on that blade.
On my letter opener.
On your letter, I can't wait. It's gonna
right.
be awesome.
I got it. All right, Season 7, Episode 1, Dragonstone. Jon Snow organizes the defense of the North. Cersei tries to even the odds. Samwell discovers crucial information. Daenerys comes home, and that's the end. And in this ep, we see my boy. He sings to Maisie Williams. It's Ed Sheeran. We see him here, and everyone loved it. That's what they said online. Yeah, Ed Sheeran will sit on the Iron Throne. Sorry. It was a roundabout way of getting there, but
was that like your Michael Jackson impression?
I love it.
Yeah. That's where I get a strong Michael Jackson.
Annie, are you okay? you got the A-team. Woo! No, we're not allowed to talk about Michael Jackson anymore either.
Yeah, that's a rough special.
I haven't watched it. Have you watched it?
Yeah, I just watched it recently.
It's so interesting to me, like the attention span thing, because this will have to disappear because it's nothing new. It's just compiled into this thing.
And all the things that they're saying have already been released technically and talked about. And I feel like, but when it's all like just thrown in your face, you're like, holy shit, that's messed up. Like, how was that person not in jail a very long time ago?
I had a little bit of this argument with somebody, like just a month ago maybe, about I think we all kind of forget how much the world had written off Michael Jackson before he died. I think there's this idea that his big This Is It tour was like a culmination of an incredible career, when it really kind of seemed at the time people were into it, but it was like, hey, I've had a rough patch. let's get back to the music and do this. No, I think we kind of just let that slide.
Oh man, the House of Cards actor Kevin
Spacey.
Yeah, how bad do you think it's going to be for him?
I have not heard from him. I would not imagine that changes in the next couple years.
You think it's going to be that long?
Yeah.
You think it's going to be like a who would be an example of an actor?
Because the problem is Kevin Spacey
is accused of rape, right? That's the thing.
I don't remember the specific allegations. There were a number of them. Kevin Spacey owned up to some of it, and again, apologies. Anything that I get wrong is simply a facet of me not having the information at hand, and it's been a little while. So I'm in no way trying to libel anybody, but yeah, there were a number of accusations, and he'd come out and said like, hey, the situations didn't seem this way, blah blah blah, taking a level of responsibility for his own actions, then kind of coming out in a move that was just widely seen to try and draw attention away from everything. Didn't work. And then just kind of went quiet. Like Kevin Spacey handled it very poorly.
Yeah.
And while it's a terrible situation, and obviously he put himself there in the first place, and then, how he handles it shouldn't necessarily be the thing that we're talking about. But I think that you're seeing people like, and I won't even compare their actions, but people like Aziz Ansari, who I think the Aziz story was like people were just swept up in anything. And that seemed like a very much like, oh no, I didn't get that vibe at all. And I'm really sorry if you did. And it seemed like there was a week or two when people didn't buy it. And then we kind of backed off because it seemed like, okay, no, that's on the up and up. This is fucking deep, by the way.
Yeah.
I was not prepared. I was prepared to talk about Ed Sheeran and how he made Game of Thrones better. And
hey, we just jumped in some Michael Jackson drama.
But
Steve
yeah,
returning to another.
It is
land.
an interesting. Like we're starting to see Aziz kind of tiptoeing around it, but he's doing the thing now where he's kind of, being very vocal about what happened and trying to have conversations. And then you have the thing like Louis C.K., who's coming out, and I don't know if you guys have read the stories, but he's like going out and doing shows and making jokes about it, which seems a little
stupid.
Yeah.
His I just feel like that's something he'll get sued for.
His stuff was like fucked up too.
It was very weird. It's very weird.
Not that it's not all messed up, but his was particularly strange.
Hans, you got that cranberry bubbly or that strawberry bubbly?
I'm rocking cranberry bubbly today.
Delicious.
It's all right. It's not my favorite.
Oh, I
it's
love
not
cranberry.
even on my top 5, to be honest.
We've already gone over this. Yeah, I know.
Hateful. The cranberry one is so good, but somebody gave me a case of the strawberry one because they didn't like it. And to be fair, I don't really like it either, but whatever. But it's red, and the cranberry one is red, and they're both in my cabinet. And I grabbed the wrong one the other day, and oh my, was that a disappointment.
I'm surprised. We talked about this already. I'm surprised you have orange so low. I'm actually a pretty big fan of the orange.
It's okay. It's all right. It's just kind of boring to me.
That's fair.
Here's the thing. I am a lover of the color orange, not necessarily the flavor orange. The flavor orange is good and fine, but
then why do you have so many oranges in your fridge?
just Jeremy missed all of that. That was before he even got on the channel here.
Like
Jeremy, let me tell you. So Hans was showing off his new Sekiro letter opener. And I have that tiny little long claw Game of Thrones sword that I got for Christmas.
Yeah.
From my brother. And I put it on top of my fridge because I didn't know where to put it. And it looked good up there and the cat couldn't get to it. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, every time I open and close the fridge, it falls down. And it's been there since December and I haven't moved it. So it's like I was telling Hans, I was like, it's just kind of a moment in life when it happens. And I sigh a little bit, and then I'm like, you know what? No, this is my time to reevaluate. This is a lesson in patience. I have to take the sword. I have to pick it back up, set it up properly, back to where its place is meant to be, and reflect on this time that I have and the fact that I have this time and, the important things in life. And then I go into the fridge like I intended to in the first place, take out an orange, microwave it, and fuck it. The important things in life. What else do you want to do when you're feeling all zenned out?
Man, microwaving an orange. That's a rough.
Not too much though. My gosh.
I know. I was gonna say all that juice.
It is, it's such a pulpy fruit. It will go molten in a heartbeat.
Yeah. You're like, this
you
is
gotta toe
old.
that line. That line of citrusy danger.
Oh man, I get that sweet hard flesh on the end though. I mean, it's kind of nice, right? You guys push through.
Make sure to de-seed it as well, because if the teardrop end of any of those seeds gives you a little cut in the process, Well, let's just say.
I just love that 25% of our audience is your parents.
Well, it's just my parents taught me at a young age to use context clues and to critically think. And why the hell else do they call them navel oranges if they're not supposed to be down in that area of the body? Like, why do they call them navel oranges?
I'm not sure.
Is the end supposed to look like a belly button? Is that it?
I don't know. I've had the Buddha fruit lately. Have you had that?
Is that the weird finger looking thing?
Oh no, not the Buddha fruit. Sorry, the sumo fruit. It looks like
I don't know what that is.
It looks like a sumo wrestle, except it's an orange and it is delicious.
Is this the one that you said you bought and it was like $12?
For 3 of them, yes.
Yeah, okay. But it was worth it.
Absolutely worth it.
It's my grocery budget, but
It's great.
yeah, it still sounds worth it. You just you do anything with them or you just eating them?
Oh, well, I mean, depends. Depends on my mood.
Navel oranges get their name from the navel-like spot that is found on the blossom end of the fruit. This happens because they are connected when they first bloom, similar to conjoined twins. What?
Whoa. Now you tell me this is going to totally go on our porn site.
That is why they're called. That's so weird. Then why don't we call them like why are they English cucumbers and not dick cucumbers? Like, if we're just naming things like that, you should be.
Oh my God. Speaking of dick-like things, sea cucumbers, that is messed up when you mess with them and they shoot off that sperm-like line. Have you seen that? Oh, YouTube sea cucumber, like, pissed off. It, like, is shooting streams of white stuff everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
I have my phone. Hold on, I'm going to pull it.
I feel like
I feel like this is all connected to Ed Sheeran.
Yeah. It might be connected to Ed Sheeran, you know? He's got lyrics that go deep into your heart and touch all sorts of subjects that you didn't even realize. I do want to, for anyone who might be catching, as we have learned, people who watch the show through us, what a terrible choice. But thank you for listening. In this episode, toward the end, Arya is trotting down the King's Road, and you hear a very familiar voice. And I do think, this is the problem with the scene. Rob touched on it a while back. The issue with the scene in general is the fact that you hear him like it's an album recording off screen. And it's so odd and so out of place. And he's singing for any book readers, it's the song that's written about Tyrion and Shay. And then Arya comes across him and says, "I never heard that song." And he goes, "It's a new one, blah, blah, blah." Beyond that, had they just thrown him into the scene, it would have been fine. If he just had his couple speaking lines, it would have been funny. It would have been fine. It would have been whatever. Even if they had them just singing as a group entirely, it would have been fine. Maybe even if he was singing and it didn't sound like a professional studio recording, it would have been better.
Yeah.
But you guys have given me a lot of shit about it on a reviewing. What did you think?
Well, so just again, for just real quick context, you get the singing as if it's, as if literally a CD is playing and someone's like listening through the boombox, and then it cuts like as zoomed in as possible right on his face. It's like really just like, it's Ed Sheeran, everybody. Check it out.
It was very intense, which is very odd. They hadn't done this with anyone before. They haven't done it since.
And then the scene is fine, but I kept waiting for something to happen, and then it just didn't. And then I kind of thought, oh, well, it's probably going to go back to that scene and kind of round it out. And then it didn't. And then I was like, oh, maybe that's the next episode. And then it wasn't. And then that was just it.
I had such a... I try to defend my boy, Ed Sheeran gets a lot of hate he doesn't deserve. He's a great fella. I love him. I would replace my orange with him any day. And Ed Sheeran does kind of ruin this scene in the sense that it's not him being there. It's the choice they made with him singing and everything. The scene is really good and kind of a very cool emotional beat and a nice lesson to be learned for Arya and the audience. And he does distract from it wholeheartedly, because I don't think I've ever had a discussion with somebody about the actual context of the scene, which is Arya having dinner with Lannister soldiers who are like the nicest people ever. And they're just like, yeah, we're just soldiers in a war, just trying to feed our families and shit. And you expect it, as you say, like you expect something to turn, they're going to attack or she's going to kill him, and nothing ever happens. And it's a really kind of cool beat that strives to break the black and white of this war. And the only thing anyone's ever said about it is, you guys see that stupid Ed Sheeran cameo?
Yeah, I agree. I think the scene would have been better without him there. Not that I don't think he did bad. Like, I think his acting or his few lines are fine. But again, I agree. If they would have just cut out, if they didn't have him singing, it would have been much better. If it was just kind of, and it would have been cooler too to have it much more subtle. But anyway,
yeah. Just like he's one of the background guys in the circle, and the camera's never even in focus on him, so you just have to go like, is that it? You're never quite sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been. Was that your guys' least favorite moment of the show?
Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
I
didn't mark it down as mine, just because I do think the scene is redeeming in and of itself.
No, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, I do agree with you in the sense that the part, like, the understanding, like, look, this is not these soldiers' war. They have no choice. They're just and like when they're getting mass slaughtered, it very humanizes this war that is not been that way portrayed, right? It's all these houses that are like, nope, we're standing behind our king of our north, we're standing behind this, and we would die for this. And these guys are like, we kind of got no fucking choice but to do this. Like, it's not like we wanted to be here. And then they're like, hey, here's a traveler. We're not trying to rape and kill and pillage her like some of the other experiences we've had with the Lannister soldiers. Remember prior when Arya was even with the Hound and they were in that keep, and they were talking about chickens and all that shit. So I don't know. That was cool. But the I just feel like it feels so cheesy putting Ed in there.
Yeah.
It just so in such a cool show, in such a, what I would say, a cool moment, it doesn't help it. And because it doesn't help it, it kind of ruins that moment.
Yeah. Just so that we can move on quick.
It's not my least favorite. I'll say that. I have another moment that's worse.
Oh,
I
really?
want to just move on as friends. But before we can, I will just need you guys to go ahead and say that Ed Sheeran is a very talented human being, in whatever words you'd like to, but an honest sentiment expressed to me now.
When he sings with T Swift, it is magic.
Okay, Hans?
Yeah, he's a talented dude.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Hans, what was your least favorite part?
My least favorite part is friggin' punk rock Euron Greyjoy. This a-hole. Like, come on.
What a wardrobe choice. It's lovely, skin-tight black leather. Waltzing into the throne room. An odd scene all around.
Yeah.
I didn't really... The King's Landing stuff confused me. I did mark down the scene, I think it's right before, as my favorite part, which is Cersei. Because Cersei is playing this very interesting game. She's obviously walked off some sort of emotional ledge, and we can hardly blame her for that. So she's going nuts, and she's ready to go. And it seems like she's got this plan, and I think she does, but we see from like her conversations with Jaime and stuff, she doesn't even really know what game they're playing. Like, she doesn't even know what is about to take place. She only knows that she's all in. And I love the fact that normally this would be a big flaw in something. We're like, oh, this doesn't make sense. They're just setting up to be bad. No, she's like, they've given her motivations. They've kind of established what she's going for. And now she is freely admitting, in confidence, but still, that she doesn't know what's about to happen. She's just, what other choice does she have? Here she is. She's gonna, she's in or out, but she's ready to die for this. It's great.
Yeah, it's a great scene. I thought that was really good. Not my favorite.
Not my favorite either. Nope.
Jeremy, you want to go first?
I mean, Arya, we talked about this at the end of last season, how stoked I was, and super satisfying when she is laying down some Walder Frey and just like, everyone's there, has invited all the other Freys and family that were involved in the Red Wedding, and just the speech is so good. Like, I like how just laying it on thick. And then the whole sharing the wine with the wife. So she spares, I don't know if she spares the servants and just the wives,
Yeah,
or if
I
it's,
think
I
so.
don't, well, anyway, the North remembers, tell them something like the North remembers, tell them winter came, or winter is here,
Yeah.
or something. I was like, what a badass line for this scene. So I don't know, that was mine. I enjoyed it.
How does she change size?
Well, I mean, she
That's-
hunches down.
That's something I've never understood about the Faceless Men. It's like they obviously change body type and very quickly. But then when they pull the face off, I don't know. I don't get it. So there's obviously
just
some element of magic has to be involved.
There
I would
must
agree.
be.
Because even just putting the face on anyway wouldn't work. Because it's just skin. Like, you still need the bone structure to look like that person. So there's got to be something else at play there.
Perhaps we'll never know. Maybe we will. I don't know. Hans, what was your favorite moment?
That was actually my favorite moment too.
That's
But
yours too.
I'll throw in a runner-up just to have something to talk about.
Yeah, give it.
Also, I have a question about that scene before I move on, just to build some suspense. Is this the first scene we get before the intro song?
No, because I thought about that last season at some point. The Hound thing when he's in the camp, that happens, and then the intro plays. And in my head, I was like, is that normal? But I was like, it must be. And then when I was watching the next episode, it just did the previously on, and then it did the intro, and I went, wait, what? Because then for a second, I thought that the Hound had actually happened in an episode, and I missed it, and it was so.
Yeah, I got very
It doesn't
confused.
happen all the time, but it has happened before.
Okay, so it does happen. I probably honestly miss a lot of those scenes then, because I usually I'm just slamming fast forward until I get to the end of the song.
Oh, you fast forward the song.
Yeah, I fast forward the song.
It's one thing I've literally never done.
Really? You listen to that even when you're binging, you listen to that song every time?
Every time.
I can't listen. If I listen to it, the problem is I just can't. Jenna will kill me, because if I listen to it, I will nonstop be singing Tiny Wiener the whole week. Like it will not go
Yeah,
away.
that's
All I
fair.
can think about is the South Park bit. So I just can't. I'm not allowed, basically.
I did
never-
notice as I was.
Yeah. So, but anyway, go ahead.
I did notice as I was watching it the other day. I have a lot of respect for whoever has like just a little bit of some sort of compulsion to really make things line up when it's going through like the song and you're going through all the bits. When we get to the Iron Islands and it zooms in, it's like Pike, blah blah blah, and the island's kind of spinning up, and then there's those three towers and they're coming up, and it's like bum 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 bum, and it's perfectly in sync with the drums when they hit like it makes me so happy. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a great intro. I don't dislike it. I avoid it for the sake of my relationship, which is probably rightfully so. So then, my runner-up, just a little moment I did enjoy. Not my favorite, but a great moment. When Brienne is training Podrick, we get back to what has apparently become my favorite character now, right? I just love when Tormund goes, "Lucky man," when he fucking knocks him over. Funny stuff.
And they get. I mean, they don't really speak, but they get kind of close. Yeah. Brienne looks very concerned.
I like how Tormund is always like looking over his mustache at people. Like it's like he like leans back and his eyes get big when he's excited. I'm like, that's right, you ginger, you giant ginger.
Did you guys hear that truck with the giant dick outside?
What did you guys think overall of the episode, though? Because I feel like not a ton really happened.
Oh, really? I thought this was a really good episode.
I thought it was solid enough. I think I remember being a little bit more disappointed because they had just announced that it was a short season, and I expected them to come a little harder right out the gate. I mean, the Arya thing being the first thing we see I was all in, and then we kind of I didn't appreciate the conflicts between Jon and Sansa, and then down the road Sansa and Arya at the time. Now knowing what it builds to a little bit more, and just accepting the fact that this is pretty much how it should be happening. I'm liking it more this go round.
Okay.
I still find it a little cringy when Jon and Sansa kind of seem to have this fabricated conflict with each other, but I'm appreciating it a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah.
I enjoyed the Winterfell section in the show from a standpoint of when the Karstark and I can't think of the other house kids are kind of like, swearing their allegiance, and it was kind of like the Lady Mormont kind of same thing. Like, I'm looking forward to like them giving like these speeches as well. I don't know, I thought that was good. And then another part I thought was really, because I like the Hound, I liked his character, I liked him when him and Arya. I liked the whole section when now he's joined God, who were they called, the Brotherhood, yeah. So it's, when I first watched it, I didn't recognize that house initially as where the farmer and his daughter were, where he left them essentially penniless.
Yeah.
Which I would argue, maybe if he wouldn't let them penniless, maybe they wouldn't be dead.
Right. I think that's probably what's going through his head.
I mean, so when he says, "Oh, they're gonna die," it's like, well, yeah, but they could have used that silver to have bought food maybe and survived it. I don't know. So that whole scene where he tries to kind of give penance or whatever to it and says something nice, I thought that was good, because I like his character. I like that he sees, I'm not the Lord of the Flame. I like that he sees the future kind of in the fire, sees the castle and the Walking Dead, if you will. But yeah, no. I, if you ask me, the Winterfell was good. I agree with you. It feels a bit, I don't know, pushed for the whole Sansa Jon thing. But then with Peter Baelish still there, smiling and like getting off and on where he thinks he's still in control, that was kind of satisfying for me, because I'm like, I know what's coming.
Yeah.
So every creepy smile just kind of makes me chuckle a little bit now.
Do you think that when the Hound saw The Walking Dead, do you think it was like the whole first season or season?
I think it probably stopped before like season 5, because otherwise he would have been like, I'm done with this.
Yeah. I think honestly, even if he stopped at season 2 too, he probably won't keep watching. So it's a rough season.
You didn't like the second season?
No, it's just,
that's the prison, right?
No, the second season is where just they're in guy's house the whole time. They're just like at the farm.
Herschel.
Herschel's
I liked
farm.
that season where Carl gets shot. I like that season.
I could just never get into it. It never like.
What's John Bernthal? Doesn't he die in that season? Spoilers.
Who's John Bernthal?
He's the Punisher
guy. Yes, he does.
Gosh, yes, I like the
that
Punisher.
season. Yeah, I liked his character a lot. I understand the conflict and why he probably needed to go, and how they built it. But I would have liked a little more of his character. Good actor.
You liked his character? I fucking hated Shane.
Well, he was the guy you kind of hate though.
Yeah, but I just didn't.
I thought he was gonna turn around. I thought he was gonna like end up being like a decent dude, but they just went a different way with it, which is fine. I still ended up watching the show through season 4 or 5. I don't know. Is it still on?
I think it's still on. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I remember I stopped. The last thing I saw was the very first scene at the end of the season with whatever his name is, Negan.
I never saw him.
Yeah, it's like the memed out thing or whatever. The guy with the baseball bat wrapped up in barbed wire. I saw that scene, and then I haven't seen anything going beyond that. So that's like a few seasons back at this point, and I don't intend to watch it.
Sure, it kind of ran its course for me.
Yeah.
I have one more note on this before, I don't know how much we're gonna go into this, but I will tell you that I think we get literally top maybe 2 lines Dany ever says in the show.
What? Please.
When she says, "Shall we begin?" to Tyrion, it is such a badass moment for me. Like, she's been kind of boring and slow for a lot of the show, But like I get excited when I was like when all like the pieces are there and you know she's gonna start doing war and I'm like fuck yeah, let's go get some. And I thought that was such a cool part of the show when they're like walking through the painted table with like the dragon, stone carved in the background. I really enjoyed that. The Dragonstone Castle section was really cool.
It's very cool. I think it probably would have been in contention for my favorite moment of the show. I marked it as my least favorite moment of the show.
Oh man!
For nothing that Daenerys does. I think all of her stuff is great, and yeah, that very last line is awesome. That her little homecoming is very cool. My problem is, it's the most unrealistic thing in the episode. In an episode when we find actual literal Ed Sheeran in the middle of the Riverlands, the fact that there are no squatters in this castle, like it's been abandoned for probably a year, almost, and the people would have been in that castle. Like, and I'm not saying like, okay, they see 100 ships, they clear out, but that castle would have been full of human shit and a bunch of like bones and stuff. Like day 3, guaranteed. But no, everything's intact because they didn't unlock a door; they just opened it.
They just pushed it. Yeah.
I thought that was silly.
That was a little ridiculous. So, but at least Tony, all is not lost for one of your favorite characters,
Sir Pounce,
Ser Jorah.
Ser Jorah,
not looking great, but he's back.
We don't see him. We see his. We hear a voice we assume to be him.
Oh.
Maybe it's a faceless man.
Could be.
Oh, I completely didn't even write that down. So,
we do. I do have a couple notes on Old Town real quick here, just to get your guys' thought. What did you think of what I have dubbed the poop and soup montage?
I thought it went on too long. It was fine.
By like the 6th repetition, I was like, it surely can't go again. And it did. And then Sam, this is something I remember kind of not liking the first go around. I'm enjoying it more again, seeing the fun kind of interactions that Sam is having and the mental choices he's coming to. But also the Archmaester. A point could be made for the Maesters in general, but we really get a lot with the Archmaester. I don't know his name. It's pretty rare, I find, in these shows to get a pretty prominent neutral character. Like, I think that the case could be made that he's pretty true neutral. He's probably more like neutral good on the alignment scale. But it's a rare character trait because it's very specific and hard to do. And I think it's kind of cool that they're basically painted to be. And we get a little bit of it here. In the next couple episodes, we're going to get a lot of it. We stay at Old Town for a fair bit. What do you guys think of the conflicts that Sam has with Archmaester, whatever his name might be?
I think it's totally believable. Makes sense to me. Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't like it.
Oh, really? I think it turns an arc that I otherwise would probably not be that interested in, and makes it better. Because I found myself, as this arc started up, I found myself kind of thinking like that this was just bored and not interested in it. And then I surprisingly kind of liked it as it went on, which we'll see in the next few episodes. And I think a lot of it has to do with kind of that interplay between Sam and the Archmaester and exactly the points you were making. So I'm gonna go on board with pro. I'm for it.
We didn't. Go ahead, Jeremy. I want to. What are your qualms?
No, so it's not a qualm necessarily. What is the thing? Knowing where it goes, I guess it's too easy of a choice then for me for Sam. Like, it would have been almost like this was the perfect fit for him, right? I feel like that would have been a more interesting story. Does that make sense how I'm explaining it? Like, where knowing if he got there, they're like, dude, yeah, you're one of us. And he shows promise. They're like, yeah, we love you. You're doing great. Keep it up. Everything's going well. You're going to get to that level that you want. And then the choices that he has to make would be much more tough. When it's like this, like, you just feel bad for him and you're like, fuck this place.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of the reason why I didn't like it the first time through.
Yeah.
It just seems like kind of unnecessarily boot campy.
Yeah.
For Sam. I'm getting it a little bit more this time from it being an emotional thing where it's like I think had you just taken Sam from Horn Hill and thrown him in here, he would have been fine.
Right.
It's the fact that he's done these things and seen these things. He's here to combat something very real, and he can't get most people to believe him, let alone even let him work on it. Like, so he's kind of got to go through all this. So he's seeing it as this slog that he has to go through,
Right.
which it is, and so it feels even more drawn out. And we're kind of, I think, made to personify that, which is it definitely does seem excessive. Also, we apparently didn't learn from Harry Potter, and maybe we won't learn from Game of Thrones, but I would love to make the case to all librarians or architects of libraries, if you're going to have a restricted section of the library, just build a different room with a door and a key and put it there. Or if you must put it in the library, do not put it in the back of the library. Put it next to wherever the receptionist, security, librarian person is, so they can see if somebody's sneaking into the restriction section of the library.
Yeah, totally.
Seems so obvious.
But I feel like it's, libraries are so cool in general to me, like especially like old libraries in these kind of shows, because you have an excitement because something's going to be discovered. Because just in the sheer volumes, no one can know everything. But it's always comical how easy sometimes it is to find those things, right? I grabbed the third scroll and it was the thing we all wanted to know for 30,000 years. You're like, fuck, dude. It was like in the first row.
The dragons exist, but the real magic is the Dewey Decimal System.
But yeah. So I think in that sense, it's like from day one, you kind of get in this show where it's going. Yeah. But I don't know. I like Sam. He's a good guy. He's entertaining, and the pooping and feeding thing is a bit comical, but a bit overdone.
The library thing, real quick. I think I've never really realized that before. Libraries are very old libraries, very cool. There's this sense of like awe about them. So I'm adding it to my bucket list now to go to the Library of Congress and watch porn.
Yeah, yeah,
in
totally.
The Library of Congress.
What is that called? Where people just exhibitionists? Yeah, just do crazy things in libraries.
Yep.
Leave your seed.
It's gonna be me. Oh God, no! I'm just gonna watch porn, Jeremy.
Tony just walked in with a big old sack of oranges.
Hey, you guys got a microwave in here? Why? Just wondering. Do you want an orange? Sure. All right, I'll heat one up for you.
I'm a multivitamin man. You know, what's vitamin C without the D? Hans, we didn't even mention it at the top of the episode. That's how bad I've been getting it with these freaking intros. You have a scone today.
I do have a scone today.
I didn't even write down what it was. What is it?
Peanut butter chocolate chip.
Oh, you doubled down. Was it so good?
So, I'll tell you, as everyone probably knows at this point, not a fan of chocolate.
Right.
So I did my best to review this from an unbiased perspective, of course,
Sure.
per our duty as scone reviewers for this podcast. And my complete unbiased opinion of this peanut butter and chocolate chip scone is that it tastes like ass. Now, I took, there was a good chunk of this scone, a little corner that didn't have any chocolate chips in it. Took a bite. Magnificent. Fantastic. You make your own conclusions.
You can see photos, if you'd like, at Instagram, Thrones and Scones. Check it out. And, of course, thronesandscones.com if you want the links to all of our things, including where you and your friends can find our episodes so that you can replay them to your heart's content. Just put them on repeat when you go to sleep. You're just going to sleep through them. Doesn't matter. We're going to get the views. Maybe we'll get some ads. It'll be a win-win. Just do it, you selfish bitch. We'll be back tomorrow with Season 7, Episode 2. And until then, you're done with G.O.T.
Yeah, you know me.
I wonder if the peanut butter chocolate thing could be benefited by, like, reesifying it. So you make that nice gooey peanut butter scone, and then you just submerge it in, like, a chocolate ganache. Let that thing harden maybe a little bit. You think that would help?
No. I don't think it would. I think removal of the chocolate chips would help.
Now, see, this is an interesting. Now, I've been better with age, but as a kid, I didn't like peanut butter. But I was into Reese's peanut butter cups, and I've heard that from a number of people. People who don't like peanut butter still kind of like Reese's peanut butter cups. So, as a person who doesn't like chocolate, do you like Reese's peanut butter cups?
No,
Okay,
that doesn't work that way.
they must be chocolate dominant then.
Yeah, but I will. I actually the scone was pretty good. Jenna had a bunch of them, and she thought they were great from a chocolate liker.
Yeah, a real true blooded American.
And it was the exact same batter as the peanut butter scone we made earlier, and that is in the running for my favorite scone of all times. Spoilers.
I still think you have to do one with the bananas in it.
Well, yeah, that's going to be the finale.
You are going to do it.
Yeah,
Nice,
we have
nice.
them. We have the materials.
Are you the finale scone?
That's going to be my finale.
Oh,
I'm not the finale scone.
That's you're going to bow out.
Yeah, that's going to be
the
my
peanut butter
sign
banana
off.
scone.
Oh, by the way, so I got some lovely feedback on our Instagram. Everyone was like digging our scones. Just so you guys know.
We've been killing it, actually.
Yeah.
A week now.
Yeah.
What did they say?
Yeah, just how great they looked. And I'm like, you know what? I totally agree.
Yeah, the last bad picture. I won't even say bad picture. But like, well, actually, it's probably that one from the store.
The bad picture? Oh, the one that was Hans's that was like
Where
random.
it's like in the store.
Yeah.
Which at this point is 9 back. And from the point of this episode is more than that. 10? Oh no, I guess the bonus episode won't have the scone. It's very just like to say, proving them haters wrong.
I would say on average our page is
We're the haters.
pretty good
Hell yeah.
till you get to the science project.
Yeah, if you can be forgiven sometimes, like I pull up the page and I like just look at the right 9 or 3x3 grid and I'm like, oh fuck, this looks like a nicely curated Instagram page. and then I'll go like one more row down and it'll get a little weirder.
Did you guys see the part where it's like Arya is posted multiple times with her see-through dress and everyone's like, that's fake.
What?
On our Instagram, Arya is like at some, I don't know, show or whatever. She's like in this black dress and you can see like an areola outline. And I'm like, that's like a very classic Photoshop thing to do. But it got like reposted on our Instagram like 4 times. And I'm like, okay.
Not on ours. I don't think you can post things to people's Instagram.
When we're following, like our stream.
Oh, so you mean they post it and it just is in our feed?
Yeah, it's in our feed is what I'm saying.
Oh. No, I don't really check it. I should probably.
Just
I
saying.
haven't seen it though.
Those
I'm now
are
looking
those
for
are
it.
those are not real.
We should probably, from an Instagram standpoint, we should have probably been a bit more active as far as like liking other people's stuff and commenting to get people to our page. But
It's true. Although compared to what we're doing on Twitter, we're killing Instagram.
that's true.
So killing it. Oh.